Hi, this is Martin, and in this particular episode, what I'd like to do is cover an article that was written by Dr. Tom Hicks. This was beautifully passed on recently by a good friend, and the article was written probably about a year ago. Dr. Hicks just passed away about 2 months ago, but the article itself is called The Demands of Charity. What you will find in this particular reference, and Dr. Hicks did this very often, he would quote a number of people and give their particular perspective on whatever subject that he was discussing. And he was incredibly well read, so he had the capacity to do that. So just be aware, and if you can go with the flow, there are a number of quotes throughout this article. May I begin? The Demands of Charity. Life is a chance of learning how to love. Somebody by the name of A.E. Brooke. When he was very ill, St. Francis of Assisi asked that a message be sent to a certain countess in Rome, asking her to come and bring some of her honey cakes, which he so loved. She came. There is a lovely simplicity about this story. I see it as an example of what Gerard Manley Hopkins called delicious kindness. The distance from Rome to Assisi is 109 miles, a long trip in the days before cars, trains, and planes. The Countess comes with her honey cakes and affection. That tale is contrasted with something Clara Luce told when she was 75 years old and was asked, "Do you have any regrets?" She answered, "Yes, I should have been a better person, kinder, more tolerant than I was. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I remember a girlhood friend of mine who had a brain tumor and called me 3 times to come and see her. I was always too busy, and when she died, I was profoundly ashamed. I remember that after 56 years, so she was probably just about 18 or 19 at that particular time. This is Dr. Hicks. As I get older, faces come back to me from the past. There are tears I would like to dry and ask forgiveness for the favor I didn't do that I ought to have done. There are the opportunities for charity that I put off. It is the small, everyday kindnesses which count for so much. Kindness expressed in small things, in the quiet, ordinary, daily life. As someone put it, it's our little nameless, unremembered acts of kindness that are so important. There are 2 explicit dictums given by Christ. The first is that ours is not to judge or condemn, but to love and be merciful. The second is that whenever our neighbor has need of us, he or she takes on a mysterious likeness to Christ. Let me string out a series of quotations, Dr. Hicks continues, that relate to the demands of charity. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. Second letter of Timothy, chapter 2, verses 24-25. Act kindly to everyone, forbearing, correcting an opponent with gentleness. You must become gentle. Never any harsh words, never a harsh tone, never take on a harsh look. Always be gentle. That was from Therese of Lisieux. Charity is certainly greater than any rule. Moreover, all rules must lead to charity. St. Vincent de Paul, and this one I'll come back to at the end. Charity consists in bearing with those who are unbearable. And that was written by St. Alphonsus Liguori. Try never to say an unkind word. It can do so much damage. That was from Father Walter Burkhardt. Related to that last quote, one can note that the word benediction from Latin means to speak well. When we speak well of someone, we bless them. How important an encouraging word is. We are all starved for affirmation. One of the deepest of human needs is a desire for acceptance and approval by others. What a kindness it is to make people feel that they are important. We can do this by giving a person the spotlight when we can. Find something right about things she or he says or does. Support someone's dreams and plans. Say words like, right, sure, of course. You're absolutely right. Great idea. I'm definitely with you. You bet. That was written Improv Wisdom by Patricia Madison. It takes so little to compliment. Mark Twain said, I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. There is a Spanish proverb, one compliment can warm 3 winter months. Saint Benedict put it this way, one complimentary word is more valuable than the most precious gift. Be kind, wrote Philo of Alexandria, for everyone is fighting a great battle. There are those private worlds of suffering around us. There is a suffering that inevitably touches all human life. We can come to the point when, having seen so much unhappiness and misery in the world, that we can't bring ourselves to cause any more sorrow, even a minor sorrow. It was Sigmund Freud who said, if we cannot remove all suffering, we can remove some and mitigate some. A wise woman said to me, in times of suffering, don't say, call me if there's anything I can do. Make concrete offers. Listening attentively is an important part of Christian charity. If you do not close your ear to others, you open God's ear to yourself. And that was St. Peter Chrysostom. Christian charity is not an easy matter. Here are some of the demands of Christian charity. We do not get even. We take no opportunities for small revenges. We do not reciprocate. We let go of resentments. We forget insults. We bear wrongs patiently without causing more suffering and evil. We bear no grudges. We don't indulge in the luxury of feeling hurt. We make excuses for people. We are not envious. We rejoice in the good fortune of others without envy. Sometimes charity shows itself if one just doesn't make things any worse. And sometimes it shows itself by learning when to let other people alone. The Catholic writer Hilaire Belloc wrote someplace that we must be unfailingly courteous. Courtesy is something less than courageous holiness, yet it seemed to him that the grace of God is in courtesy. Much the same could be said of good manners. It shows respect. 2 more quotes to end. Pope John the 23rd, when asked what his most important function was, said, I learned that my most important function was to be a steady source of kindness. And finally, John of the Cross wrote, in the evening of life, you will be judged on love. The only question asked will be, have you loved well? Learn then to love and forget yourself. Going back to that quote, St. Alphonsus Liguori, charity consists in bearing with those who are unbearable. It very much reminds me of a poem that was in one of Mother Teresa's hospitals, and it was written by a poet in the 1950s, and it had to do with all of the things that we face that we're not exactly wild about, yet we have to do something. And the whole poem was, do it anyway. Do it anyway. So with that, I'd like to close, and I thank you for listening, and until the next time, farewell.